Well, how's it going, my good faithful YouTube viewers and listeners? It is the Jer Bear, and it is officially Saturday morning, September 3rd, 2022. It's really early in the morning. It's actually in the middle of the night. Um, so I just can't sleep, and I figured I would come on and record this daily rant. And I think those of you who decided to stop in and indulge me for a little while and kind of listen to some thoughts. Of course, as everybody knows, this is September. This is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Um, just a few things I want to discuss and kind of get out of the way, kind of, get off my chest a little bit. And I don't know, just kind of talk about things. So, to start this daily rant, I just want to say that, I recognize September as being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I have not, totally disregarded it. I can't, because, childhood cancer was a big part of my life as well as many other of my friends. And they take the time to recognize September, but I've noticed that there's not a lot of people posting about it this time around. I mean, on occasion, they might post a picture of their kid smiling and bald, or they might post a picture of a gold ribbon with the statistics and the percentages, which I'm really not interested in doing. But I have, in fact, been talking about my story, sharing bits and pieces, and I don't know if I made a good decision. I don't know if the decision I made to talk about this, I don't know if it was very wise or strategic, because 95% of my Facebook friends population already fucking knows about my battle with Wilms tumor, and it's like, do I really have to reiterate all this again? Most people already know the fucking stories. Why do I have to keep talking about this? But then I got to thinking, well, because the viewership changes on my Facebook friends list, and there are people who may not otherwise know what the deal is. My bio on my Facebook profile reads that I'm a Wilms tumor childhood cancer survivor. Well, when they come on my Facebook, that's probably what they expect to see. And so I want to make sure that I deliver all the information and all the evidence I have from that time period of my life. And, even if it means taking pictures or just talking about things or sharing paperwork or whatever the case may be, I want to make sure that I'm sharing that information, because it's got to match up with, the fact that I am, a childhood cancer survivor, Wilms tumor. But the thing is, I've noticed that most of my friends are just not into it, as they used to be, like in years past when we all first met each other and we started to get into the groove of things. And then I think over time we just kind of said fuck it. We kind of threw in the towel and said fuck it. It's not going to make a bit of a difference. Nobody cares. So we're just not going to participate in that. And as a matter of fact, one of my friends, still a good friend of mine from the pediatric oncology world, she actually deactivated her Facebook account because she was immediately annoyed with the constant gold ribbons and the just the things that people share. Now, I understand there's also a lot of people who are bereaved parents, and I'm not going to butcher them or cut them down or belittle their feelings or, to dismiss them and how they feel. I don't want to do that, and that's not what I'm here to do. That's not my intention. That's not my goal. But I think for the most part, by and large, a huge swath of my friends, I'd say anywhere between 90 to 95% of my Facebook friends population is in fact from the childhood cancer demographic. Most of them are really not saying a whole hell of a lot about childhood cancer. I've been posting, a couple things here and there. I've been doing it since the first of the month. And, I don't know. I think the enthusiasm kind of mellowed out over the years, which that's fine. I think we're all just trying to live our lives now. And I was talking to a very good friend of mine. She's an advocate for DIPG awareness in particular, because she's more, the angle of DIPG, which I don't care. I don't mind that at all. But we were talking, and she said something about, because she shares information of warriors, and she'll create memes and graphics for this particular organization. And I kind of brought it up to her, not to be condescending, but I asked her, I said, well, do you have any legal binding with this organization? Because unless you have a legal binding contract with them, or unless you are legally obligated to post things for them, you are not obligated to stay or to continue with advocacy efforts. There's no legal obligation. She's going more along the lines of a moral obligation, which, okay, I'm fine with that too, but let's not pretend as though you have to stay. You have a choice to leave advocacy. And I say that even as a survivor. You have the choice to leave childhood cancer advocacy. You don't have to make every waking moment about that. And that was something that I had to learn. That's a realization that I had to come to. And I think the people who actually listen to me, despite the fact that I say the word fuck on occasion, I think they're pretty much in tune with what I'm saying. The words that I've said over time between the daily rants and the Sunday videos and even Facebook posts, I think people are actually kind of following the trend. They're actually listening to me, and they're actually thinking that, you know what, just because it's September, it doesn't mean I have to talk about childhood cancer. I don't have to talk about why, it's important that we have more than 4% of government funds allocated towards research. We don't have to get into the specifics. We can just live our normal fucking lives and just be who we are and do what we do. We don't have to pay homage to this whatever it is going on, the so-called cause that's going nowhere in a hurry. And I think people are just waking up to that now. People are finally starting to listen. And I don't think it's a bad thing that people are actually just wanting to live their lives and say, you know what, I'm setting out this September. I don't want to get involved in any of this. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to show my friends and people on Facebook, social media, not just Facebook, but social media in general, that there is a life without it. And I can live my life every single day. And I'm going to show you this side of my life that's not controlled by or kite-tailed by childhood cancer. I'm just living my everyday life. I'm showing you a different side of my life that I wouldn't normally talk about or post about. But I think people are starting to get it. And the people who are really like hardcore gold ribbon fanatics are actually ticked because not enough people are speaking up about this. But I think most people, generally speaking, they listen to what I'm saying. As a survivor, I can tell you that anything we do on social media or on YouTube or anywhere for that matter, nothing is going to change, no matter how hard we try. You can attend all the CureFest events you want. I mean, that's entirely up to you. You're wasting your fucking time and you're wasting your breath, but hey, you do you. But you're just wasting your time. I think most people are aware of this now. I think people are actually listening to me. And maybe there are other people out there who feel the same way as I do, but they just don't have the balls or the brawn to speak up about it because they're afraid of the backlash. I don't give a fuck about backlash. I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. I'm not trying to persuade or discourage someone from doing whatever it is they want to do. I'm just saying that you're really essentially just wasting your time. Attending a CureFest event is an exercise in futility because it's not going to change. Fundamental incremental change is not going to happen the very minute you snap your fucking fingers and you cry for it. It's just not going to go down. It's just not going to happen. And I know it can be a harsh truth, And the truth can be painful most of the time, but somebody's got to say it. Somebody actually has to speak up and look through the bullshit. And I've done that. I stopped playing the games of these advocates and people who act as though they are a part of some elite group of people just because they can post a gold ribbon and they can shout on Capitol Hill and express their disdain and disgust of our government that fails children. I think we all share in that collective, that collective irritation, so to speak. I think it goes without saying. But I don't see any great change being affected by CareFest. I don't see any great change happening as a result of people marching on Capitol Hill. I don't see anything happening. You would have to be blind or naive to what's really going on. You would have to really put your blinders on to reality, and you keep going to this shit, and it does nothing. There's no real betterment happening here. I don't know. People get discouraged by that, and I don't say these things to discourage anyone or piss anyone off, and I'm certainly not saying let's put childhood cancer on the back burner. I'm just saying that time after time, year after year, we keep hearing about this. This is not anything new. Childhood cancer demographic is not an exclusive group of people. We don't want to be here no more than you want to join it. It's just silly to me. Maybe perhaps it always was silly, and I never really had the courage to speak out in opposition of that. But now I do. I wish I could have gotten along with everybody I came into contact with, but most people from that demographic in particular, they're just straight up fucking nasty people. And they are willing to go to such great lengths to trash on people and smear someone's name. I don't know why. I don't know how they, where do they find the time to do it? Especially if these are oncology parents who are supposed to be taking care of their children. Where do you find the fucking time to be making up fake Facebook accounts? Where do you find the time? I'm just curious. But anyway, I must have said this 1,000 times, that we're not anything elite. We're not anything important. We're not anything of great substance. And I hate to say it, but the childhood cancer demographic is, in fact, a subjugated group of people. We are a minority, and we have always been the minority, and we will continue to be the minority because that's just the way it's always been. And the thing that's always bothered me, or at least gotten under my skin, is the fact that most of these people behave as though childhood cancer is just a poor person's disease. And it's just, it's insane to me. It's bizarre that people actually have that mindset. Especially if you're someone who attends CareFest. You think that this is just a poor person's disease. Well, this shouldn't have happened to my kid. Well, you know what? It shouldn't happen to anybody's children, whether you're rich or poor. I mean, who the fuck made that rule up? That only poor people should be sick and the rich people should never get sick at all? That they should just remain healthy at all times? Well, we all strive to remain healthy at all times, but Christ almighty, we don't always get what we want in life, and things happen, and it's not just a poor person's disease. And there was something else that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of pointed this out on Facebook. If you're friends with me on Facebook and you're listening to this, then you've most likely read the post. It was semi-lengthy. It wasn't really long, but it was long enough for me just to get all my thoughts out. And that is, I'm not an expert. I am not an expert on childhood cancer. And even just saying that, it just blows people's minds. Like, Jared, how can you say that you're not an expert after everything you've been through? How can you say you're not an expert? Well, Because I'm not a fucking expert. The thing is, I'm a patient, or I was a patient at the time. And I relied on the expertise from people of higher academia. In other words, people who have graduated, they've went on to medical school, and they've got their degrees and all the essential credentials that they needed to practice medicine and to be licensed to practice medicine. Those are the experts. I'm not the fucking expert. I'm just someone who is a patient, and I speak very openly and candidly about things that I know to be true about childhood cancer. That doesn't make me an expert. And even just saying that on Facebook, I think it may have ruffled some feathers with some folks, because they probably have it in their minds that, well, I know how to take care of my kid. That makes me an expert. No, I'm sorry. That's just false. It's absolutely fucking false, because the truth of the matter is that if you were an expert, you would have already known what was going on with your kid. You would have already known how to deal with things like that, how to clean the ports and do the heparin flushes and all that stuff, the saline drips and all that shit. You would have already had the knowledge and the expertise in that. But because you didn't, you had to rely on people who are more educated in that field of study. And in that field of study, I'm referring to pediatric oncology. These people are very highly educated. That's what they go to school for. And we all could very well go to school and, get our license to practice medicine. We can go through all that and, do the work and do all that stuff. I'm not saying that this is, just for people who are rich or whatever. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is that most people who actually pursue their dreams of becoming medical professionals, they are the ones who go on. They follow the peer-reviewed evidence, the documentations, the scholarly printouts, and then they use what they've learned and they pass it on to the patients. It's all kind of like a domino effect, because everything that our doctors know about cancer or tumors or whatever, they were taught by the colleges and universities that they attended, because that information is published by the scientific community, in which the evidence is peer-reviewed, and they all come to an agreement, or most of the community comes to an agreement, that this is in fact what's happening, and we can actually demonstrate this to be the case. The evidence that we pass on and present is demonstrable, so we can actually demonstrate the truth or the proof of what's happening. And anybody can do it. And that's what I love about science, by the way. But so this is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I'm just rambling. I don't really know what else to talk about. But the thing is, I guess the point I was trying to say, or at least trying to drive home, is the fact that I'm not an expert, no more than a parent of a cancer warrior, unless, of course, they work in the medical field and they have some training. They have some expertise on how to administer testing with the equipment and the tools that they use. That's different. But just a regular average Joe like me, a childhood cancer survivor, I don't have any expertise or education in medicine, but I understand what chemo and radiation can do, because I am living proof of that. And I don't sit here and speculate on what it could do. I know the power of chemo. I know the power of radiation. It's not a fucking joke. It's serious shit. Anybody who's ever had one or both can tell you. They don't fuck around. Chemo and radiation are both very fucking potent. Especially chemo. chemo will fuck you up in 1,000 different ways, and with radiation, it's just you got to hold completely still. Because radiation, like laser beams, radiation, if you move just right or suddenly, radiation can rip into your skin. That's how fucking potent it is. So when they tell you you have to hold completely still, that's exactly what they mean. I mean, they had to tape me to the table. And I'm not making it up. They had to put like a heavy-duty tape across my head, across my ankles. I had to put my arms up over my head, and they had to tape down my wrists. I had to be completely fucking still. I could not move on that table. Because one sudden movement, it could have fucked me up. Because radiation is very dangerous to work with. It's very dangerous. But, that's not me as an expert. That's me as a patient knowing how that shit works. I don't qualify as an expert just because I know a thing or two about radiation or chemo or whatever. I just know it because I've lived it. And I don't know, I think at times people get confused, and then it leads into kind of a red herring situation, and it's like, well, I'm not here to argue with you, I'm not here to debate, but I think for the most part you can agree, or at least understand what I'm trying to say. You can agree with my point if you really stop and think of what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's really that difficult to understand. I don't know. I don't think that I'm an echelon for childhood cancer. Most of these people think they are. They're not. And again, like I said, there's a lot of these people who think that they are part of an elite group or organization of childhood cancer, quote-unquote, heroes, activists, advocates. They love to give themselves that label because they think that it carries some kind of special privilege or baggage, when the truth be told, it doesn't. Even when I called myself an advocate, I didn't think I was anything special. I'm still a childhood cancer survivor. The advocate was just extra. Just calling myself an advocate, that was just extra. Didn't mean shit. Because I can still be an advocate, or I can still be a survivor, and it's not going to mean anything. I'm a survivor. That's what matters the most. The fact that I can advocate and virtue signal, that doesn't mean anything. Because even as a survivor, I can still talk about cancer and how it changed my life. And, I can't imagine how my life would have been had I not had cancer, because I can't. I would like to think that if I didn't have cancer, I wouldn't be allergic to the sun. I like to think that I could have learned how to do a lot of things as a kid, as normal children should do. And I'm not saying I'm not normal. I'm just saying that as a result of cancer, it made me allergic to the sun, and therefore I didn't learn how to ride a bicycle. I never learned how to do a lot of things. I never learned how to swim. And I'm sure I would have enjoyed those things just as much as the next kid. But childhood cancer had kind of, slowed that down. Or at best, had taken it away. And I'm not making excuses. I would have loved to have learned how to do things as a child, But I was in the house a lot of the time and didn't really go outside a lot. My mom was always afraid that I get burned from the sun, and she was right. I mean, even just being outside for 5 minutes, I would start to burn from the sun. Now, if I was in the shade, it wouldn't be a big deal, but the sun just does not like me. And I would love being in the sun. I would love it. I don't know what's on what my options are. I don't know what's on the table for like photosensitivity. I don't know. I don't know if they have a certain pill to take or a vitamin or a steroid or even a shot. I have no fucking clue. I've done some Google research, so to speak. It's really just anybody can look this shit up. But they have alternatives to use to combat photosensitivity, like special oils and all that shit. But I'm not interested, really. Dr. Scott, I think it was Dr. Scott, might have even been Dr. Forsythe, our family doctor at the time. One of them, maybe it was both of them, but I remember one of my doctors telling me that I should be out in the sun more so my body will get used to the sun exposure. And even now that I'm older, and I do a lot more now that I'm older, I do go out in the sun quite a bit, but I also burn quite a bit from the sun. The sun does not like me. And I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, it does not fucking like me. And it's got nothing to do, by the way, with the sun not liking me. The sun isn't a thinking agent. It's just the closest star to the Earth, that's all. It's just in the solar system. It's not a thinking agent. A planet cannot like or dislike you. But anyway, that's just, I guess, figurative speech. So yeah, this is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and like I said, I've noticed a big decline in the posts on social media. There's not a lot of people talking about childhood cancer, or like I said, if they do talk about it, they post gold ribbons saying that, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, or they say that, 4% is not enough, the usual platitude that everybody says, everybody posts. It's almost like childhood cancer jargon that we have agreed to speak in this kind of use this kind of verbiage and this kind of language and this kind of behavioral patterns. I don't buy into that shit. I deviated from it and I separated myself. I divorced myself from that. And I think most of the people in the demographic, they saw that as a dangerous move because I'm not thinking the same way as they think. I'm not behaving in the same way as they behave. I'm not doing the same things that they are doing. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I don't think I'm an echelon. I'm not looking down on anybody, and I'm sure as shit not looking up to anybody. I didn't follow suit. I didn't go along with what they thought I was going to go along with, and well, when warm air and cold air collide, I think we all know what happens. But, I haven't had any problems, actually, in quite a while. It's been actually nice. And if anybody is saying shit, I'm never going to know it anyway, because I'm just too busy living my life, and I haven't heard any reports or anything. Now I probably will, for having mentioned it. But usually it's because people are bored and they just have nothing better to do. They just like to cause problems for people. And they like to make shit up, and they like to try to ruin someone's name, and it just doesn't work. Because I think most people generally understand that just because you say it doesn't mean that it's true, and I think we're beyond that now. I haven't had any problems with that in quite some time, which is nice. It's been peaceful, it's been quiet. I'm not complaining. I enjoy not having drama in my life. And I enjoy having the friends I have. I enjoy having the conversations that I have with people. I'm, planning a video chat very soon with a warrior sister from, I think she's from the United Kingdom. We were actually talking in Messenger. We're going to plan a little video chat sometime soon. And someone else I think wanted to plan a video chat with me too, a warrior brother, also from England, I believe. So there's a couple of people from across the water, from across the pond, as we say, that they want a video chat with old Jerry Bear, and I don't have a problem with that. I think we would have a very lengthy, productive conversation. And there's so much to say. There's so much to talk about. Just, among survivors. I think it's great that we can rejoice together and share ideas and opinions and thoughts, and we can compare, like, well, you do this, okay, well, I kind of do it differently, or I do at a completely different angle, which is fine, which is great. I love the diversity because I've got friends from all walks of life, not just from the childhood cancer world, but from pretty much any and every path of life you can think. They're amazing people. I love them dearly. And but yeah, I'm mainly focused on the childhood cancer demographic. And like I said, there's one warrior sister and a warrior brother. Both are from England, and they are hoping to video chat with me sometime soon through Messenger. And I'm really looking forward to that. As a matter of fact, later today, I'm going to be in Lansing at the 2022 Michigan Chicken Wing Festival. I've never been there in my life, not to the event, of course. I've been to Lansing a gazillion times, but not at the Michigan Chicken Wing Festival. That's going to be something different. And then I think next week, I'm pretty sure next week I'm going to be going across the Mackinac Bridge. I think I'm going to the Upper Peninsula. I don't know yet. I have to check my resources. I have to check with my friends because we're actually planning a little meet and greet for another warrior who lives in the Upper Peninsula, and we're friends on Facebook, and we're actually looking forward to meeting each other. And I'm going to be taking my Jared Bear with me and sharing my story and giving a brief synopsis of my battle with Wilms tumor, and hopefully we're going to make the best times you can imagine. We're going to make the best of it. We're going to have a great day. It's going to be a great visit. It's going to be awesome. But I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot going on, and there's another friend of mine. She lives in Gladwin. She actually used to live in Texas, and she's actually she's not part of the childhood cancer world, but she is actually friends with one of my my childhood cancer brothers, one of my warrior brothers from Texas, and she's actually friends with us. So we share a mutual friend. She actually, not the Warriors family, but our mutual friend, she actually moved to Gladwin from down in Texas. She lives in Gladwin, Michigan, so we're actually going to be planning a little meet and greet soon as well. I don't know what the plan. I think she wants to have dinner at Ponderosa in Mount Pleasant, I think, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably talk more about it in tomorrow's Sunday video update. Can't believe Sunday's already upon us. This week went fast. And I do apologize if you guys can hear that. My dog just, I don't know what he's barking at, but it does get annoying. And now they're both barking. Great. I swear, like, they know when I'm doing this daily rant recording, because I have made attempts over and over and over again, and in every attempt, they think they gotta fucking bark the whole time. I can never get away with doing a daily rant without them barking in the background, and it's kind of annoying, to tell you the truth. And you can hear my dad yelling at the dogs, perhaps. But anyway, I've been here for about a half an hour. I got some things out that I wanted to discuss. Main points I wanted to talk about. I'm not here to bash anybody. I know that's usually the case with daily rants. That's usually the synonymous thing, but not this time. I actually wanted to talk about Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and just to talk about how most of my friends have just kind of quieted down. Most of my friends from the pediatric oncology world, that is. Most of them have really toned it down with anything related to childhood cancer, which I think is actually nice. It's a breath of fresh air. It's like a huge weight has been lifted. So much to the point where it's like, okay, now the pressure's off. Now I really don't have to talk about this anymore, because I think most people get it. They are on the same page. They understand my battle. They have been through similar situations as I have. And hopefully, can talk less about it and actually share more of my personal life that's not attached to childhood cancer. So it's been nice. Listen to that dog. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but god damn it, that fucking drives me nuts. He just barks and barks and barks and barks. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I've been here for over 35 minutes. My name is Jared Fuller, a.k.a. the Jerry Bear. Thank you so much for listening to this edition and this installment of the Daily Rant. Rudely interrupted by barking dogs because they don't know how to shut the fuck up! Anyway, I'm out, guys. I love y'all very much, and I will see you tomorrow on the Sunday video update. So until then, toodaloo!